My name is Adeola Fadumi. I am a writer and the creator of Pearls from Our Fathers. So when I was, a few years ago, my dad broke my trust. And it was the first time that I realized that my hardworking, loving, and present father was also a flawed and imperfect human being. I had just moved back home to Minneapolis from DC because, I was in the job market, and I also was trying to start a side hustle as a freelance writer and editor. But there was another reason why I went home, aside from free food and free housing. There was this boy that I was madly in love with at that point in time. And we were thinking about, maybe this would work. If I moved back home to Minneapolis, maybe we could be a thing. But on getting home that summer, nothing went as planned. I couldn't find a job, I didn't find a job. And freelance writing, what was that? Couldn't find gigs. And my parents were not for my relationship. And that was hard for a Nigerian African woman, It's a thing you want your family to, be for the one you're with. But my dad and mom were not. So it's one thing to not have a job. It's another to not figure out how to build a business. And then to have to argue with my parents year round about this guy I was dating. It was a hard year. So one afternoon, my dad knocked on my door, sat me down, that he wanted to talk to me. And it was another attempt to tell me, oh, this is the reason why you can't be with this guy. This is the one reason, actually, why you can't be with this guy. And when he knocked on my door that day, the moment he walked in, somewhere deeper than me, I knew that what he was about to say was going to make me look at him differently. But before I get to that conversation, let's backtrack to about a decade prior. I think I was a sophomore in college, and my dad had called me out of the blues. I wasn't even dating. Gosh, it took me a while to even start dating ever, but I wasn't even dating. And he said, Adeola, I've been thinking about you, and I wanted to tell you that I don't care. Of course he cared. I don't care who you date or who you end up marrying. I don't care where he's from. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what he does. What's most important to me is that he loves the Lord and that he loves you more than I love your mom. And my dad loves my mom. But aside from that, Nigerian dads do not say that, like, go date whomever. So for me, as a Nigerian daughter, as an African girl, that was a gift. I feel like my dad gave me a gift that I treasured and valued. And for many years, I talked about it. And I think it gave me the freedom to not just date, but just to do other things that I do as a person. I'm the rebel in my family. So 10 years after that, in my room, having that conversation, my dad quoted a scripture and he misapplied the scripture to my life and to my relationship at that point. And even sitting here telling the story, I remember the resentment and the anger just welling up within me and bubbling up within me. And I couldn't look at my dad, and it was the first time that I truly saw my father. It was the first time I ever felt that way about my father. For many people, that scenario wouldn't conjure up any feelings of anger because it wasn't a big deal. But for me, it did, because in that moment and many years after, I felt like I couldn't trust my dad because a gift that was given to me, something that I treasured and valued, was yanked back from me in that moment. And it hurt. It really did hurt. And that year, and for many years after, I kind of shut him out emotionally. Well, I had to deal with it as my father, but emotionally, I kind of couldn't trust my dad. And it was in that season, I juggled the feelings of loving my father and also feeling anger and resentment towards him. It was a weird feeling. And that year, as I juggled through those emotions, a lot of daddy themes started popping up. I started noticing other people's fathers and how they interacted with their fathers. It was weird. I just wondered how people walk through and navigated unpleasant, hurtful, emotional spaces with their fathers, whether it's a small detail like mine or a huge detail like a loss of a father or a violent father. It was just weird. That year and years after, daddy themes stood out to me. So as I walked through those feelings with my father, and we walked through our situation, we walked through our relationship, One thing I was very sure about was that I didn't want to sit in that space of grumbling. I didn't want to sit in the hurt. I didn't want to sit in the pain. Even as I wanted to hear the stories of other people navigating those kind of spaces with their fathers, I knew I didn't want to hear just the grumbling and just the hurt. I wanted to hear how they came out, and if they came out, what kind of pearls and wisdom and life lessons they took out of the situations. And what is Pearls from Our Fathers? It's simply the stories of our fathers told from our point of view. My goal is to curate a diversity of stories and experiences and perspectives of our fathers and fatherhood told from adult children's point of view. I hope to share stories of a wide range of fathers, biological fathers to stepfathers, to the fathers who gained through adoption, to single fathers, to fathers that have passed on, to incarcerated fathers, emotionally unavailable and available fathers. I want to get stories from us about our fathers, all kinds of fathers. So Pearls from Our Fathers will start on Instagram and on Facebook as photos, visuals, and as stories captioned. And the people that have chosen to tell their stories thus far, they share from a place of questioning, resolution, anger, love, gratitude, joy, pain. The stories are intense, they're vivid, they're joy-filled. And ultimately, my goal is that these stories would help us change the conversation and culture around fatherhood and around fathers. And in my ideal world, I hope to turn the hearts of fathers back to their children and the hearts of children back to their